Welcome to a quick tour of the WodBoard CRM. A CRM system is a centralized place to track all your leads and communicate with them. And you may be wondering why you need one of these systems. Well, the truth is, if you have one or two leads coming in per week, you probably don't need that. You probably got the ability to retain that information in your head, or a simple pen and paper system that works just fine. But as you start to grow your gym and the number of leads coming in increases, or you add additional members of staff working on the sales process, then what you want is one centralized place where you can see all your leads, see how they're progressing through your sales system, and communicate with them. On top of that, you can add another layer of automations so that you can reduce the amount of human effort needed at certain stages of the sales cycle, and also make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. The WodBoard CRM provides all of this, and it comes with its own phone number. So all communications, whether via SMS, WhatsApp, phone call, any other means, they're all confined within our app. And what that means at the end of the day is when you open your phone, you're not going to have a mixture of personal and business communications going on. So that is just great if you want to switch off when you've come home from a hard day at the gym. So that's a quick intro. So now let's dive in and see what the software looks like. Let's start with the pipeline view, which is a visual representation of your sales process. So you can see here you have different columns representing the states, and then as we move along you can see how the lead would progress through the sales process. In this case, what we're trying to do is book somebody in for an appointment. We're going to try and sell them a membership at that appointment, and then we'll follow up a few times afterwards to see if they're interested if we've not heard from them otherwise. That's just one example of a sales process and how it may work at a gym, but of course yours may be completely different. And with the WodBoard CRM, you can completely customize this pipeline view to exactly match your sales process. And if you have different cohorts of customers coming in, then you can create different pipelines. For example, here we have an adults and a kids pipeline. Each lead is represented in the column as a card. So you can see here we have the basic lead details, the name, email, and phone. And then in the bottom right we have some icons. So the first is if the lead has tasks associated with them. More on that in a second. The second allows you to call the lead, so you can just press that and it will call directly through the software, through your dedicated number. And the final one allows you to message the lead. You can see there we highlight when there's outstanding messages to reply to, so it's really easy to spot when viewing the pipeline. You can also see here that we highlight when a booking's been made in green, and there's additional advanced options that you can have in there, like allocating leads to members of staff or tagging them. The other thing you'll notice is that some of the cards have a red background, and this happens when they've been sat in the same column for 14 days. This is the system highlighting to you that something else should probably happen to that lead. Maybe they've been forgotten about, or maybe they've gone quiet on you and they need adding to a longer term nurture program. So that's a quick overview of the pipeline. As you can see, it's a really easy visual way to see exactly where you stand with all of your leads. You can filter these if you want, you can download lists, there's lots of different options to really tailor it to your needs. You're probably wondering how the leads end up in the CRM to start with, and whilst you can always add them manually, it's forms that you really want to use. These can sit on your website, on your social media, or anywhere else where you get inquiries. If you run adverts on Facebook or Instagram, you can even have the leads come from there automatically straight into your WodBoard CRM. Next we have the unified inbox, which is where all messages from leads and customers come into one place. You can see here the different methods available, and they're based on how the customer has communicated with you before. You can see that there's a message to respond to by the blue dot on the left of the customer's name, and in the sidebar a total number of outstanding messages that you need to respond to. There's also options for allocating messages to staff or leaving them available for all. In this case, we're happy to reply to the message, and you can see it's pre-selected email because that's how the customer contacted us. So we can just go ahead and write our reply here. On a similar vein, we have tasks. These can be created as a one-off reminder for something you need to do. They can be recurring, so for example, a job that needs regularly doing around the gym that you need to track, or they can be created automatically as part of sequences related to your leads. So for example, here we've got one where somebody's coming in for a look around the gym tomorrow, and we just need to give them a call to make sure they're remembered and that they're coming in. To do that, we just click into the task, and here's the details of the lead, and we can just click on the phone number to call. There's also options for allocating tasks to members of staff, and you can filter them much like you can the inbox. You can even set up a reminder to message staff members at the end of the day if they've not completed their tasks. And then we have automations, which is the magic that ties all these sections together. Now you could do these items manually. For example, you can message a lead the day before they come around the gym just to remind them of their appointment. But the point of the CRM is to automate all of this so you get more of your time back. Automations can be set up for customers or for leads. So you can see here on the customer side, we've got a birthday automation, which we've already installed. These are the prefabricated ones we've got built in. Under leads here, you can see we've got an automation that goes out when they book an appointment, if they cancel, there's lots of different options there. And then we have the custom automations, which you can trigger off any point that you want. So for example, here we could create one for a drop-in customer. And there's lots of options here, so you can automate many of the more manual parts of your business. Let's jump into a sequence and see what that looks like. So here we have the appointment attended automation, which goes out automatically as soon as somebody has attended their appointment. So you can see here on day 0, these ones go out immediately. We've got an SMS. We've also got an email that goes out. It's best to contact people via multiple means, depending on how they prefer to communicate. And then you can see 3 days later, if they haven't signed up for a membership, then we'll create a task for a staff member to give them a call. And we can set up as many of these steps as we want. Now, the great thing about creating an automated task, of course, is that it appears right here in the task list and it's allocated to the customer in question. So the staff member can just click in, click the number to call, and off they go. So that's a brief tour of the WodBoard CRM. As you can see, we've created a very comprehensive system that lets you do everything from first lead inquiry through various sales stages, automations, tasks, messaging, right through to hopeful conversion to a membership. And if they don't, of course, you can pop them into a long-term nurture program and hopefully at some point in the future they'll convert. There's a lot more advanced stuff that you can do with the CRM that for brevity I've not shown in this video, but if it is of interest, then please do book in for a call. We can walk you through some of the things that it can do and more importantly show how it will work with the sales process that you have at your gym.